That's what they mean, man. Like that, I don't give a switch. It need to be somewhere accessible at all times. So you can just click that motherfucker fast, bro. You know what I'm saying? You just click it fast. Like, I don't give a like. Just click the switch, bro. You know what I'm saying? When the DMN is highly active during internal deliberation, the FPN shows reduced activity. Remember, the FPN is like I can think of something for it. You know what I'm saying? But is that I don't give a switch. Like let's call it that. Your IDGAF switch is the FPN. Right. So when the FPN shows reduced activity, that means the DMN is highly active. Yeah, basically. This means the brain's attention control system, the mechanism that would normally help someone disengage from repetitive thoughts and commit to a decision, it's literally being suppressed while the overthinkers ruminates. Damn. I mean, that makes sense. It's not that overthinkers don't want to decide, is that the neural architecture making the decision is simultaneously weakening the neural architecture that will allow them to stop deliver. Bruh, so like I read a book about this once, and I may be wrong, but it kind of said like the thing between people who have ADHD and people who don't, like how they brain wire and fire is different. You know what I'm saying? You got certain synapses and all these different pieces of information that's flowing through these things in the brain. And instead of it being like a clean connection, it's like jumping or going over and under because there's so much information at the time that's not processing in through this one little funnel. So it's not that they slow or that they can't focus on anything. It's just that it's a different speed. It's like drinking out of a fire hydrant. The speed of the data is coming in is too fast for in the process. They thinking too fast for themselves. It's crazy. But yeah, man, overthinkers exactly. They get stuck in their head and not being dramatic. They're describing a measurable neurological state in which the brain's internal focus system has temporarily overpowered its external action system. Yeah, and I ain't gonna like my little son like that sometimes. You can see him when he's talking. He's talking faster than the thoughts, it seems like. And he'll get hung up on something. He grabs his head, and I'm like, hey, just slow it down, spit it out. I know what you're trying to say, but I want you to say it because you need to practice saying it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I get it. I do. They experience decision fatigue faster and harder. I just gave y'all the sun scenario. This is I swear to God, it's him, bro. Decision fatigue faster and harder. Yeah, they do. For real. I ain't saying I read this article before, but I kind of see where they're going. Every decision you make draws from a finite pool of cognitive resources, for sure. Psychologists call the depletion of this pool decision fatigue, and the research on it is sobering. A widely cited study of more than 1,100 parole decisions found that judges were significantly more likely to grant parole in the morning and right after breaks. By the end of long decision sessions, they defaulted to the easiest choice, denial, regardless of the merits of the case. Hey, shout out CGA. Shout out CGA, bro. He talk about this all the time. Like, if you get in the courtroom, if you get in the courtroom before lunch, like you were straight. But if you came in there after 1,300, bruh, grits, we talking about. I ain't lying to you, boy. You're done. You're done, fam. Like straight up. And they said decision fatigue. It found that judges was more likely to grant parole in the morning. I ain't I ain't gonna tell y'all my experience, but yeah, you always want to go to court in the morning, straight up. I don't know why it's like that because you feel like people will be happier after lunch when all the meetings is done. They can just do their job, but I don't know. Now consider what this means for someone who doesn't just make decisions throughout the day, but overthinks every one of them. Where a satisficer might burn a small amount of cognitive fuel choosing what to eat for lunch, an overthinker runs through a full maximization process, evaluating every option, imagining how each might turn out, comparing alternatives, and then second guessing the choice after it's made. By mid afternoon, the overthinker has burned through cognitive resources that the satisficer still has in reserve. For sure. But like, did we ever distinguish the difference between an overthinker and a satisficer? Because this is what I truly have seen in life, bro. People who are just natural givers. They're not like what we hear today, where it's, I'm giving in the expectation of receiving. They just have a giving heart. You know what I'm saying? It's their thing. Like Like they like if they were rich, they would just give people gifts. They would just take care of people. They would just do nice random acts of kindness for people. It's just the fact that they don't have unlimited resources like that to give out. They have it in love or care or whatever that may be. People who are natural born givers, this is what I feel like they like a satisficer has that in reserve because they don't care as much. It's kind of like it's in a dark way. It's kind of like saying they very selfish. I'm just doing what I enjoy doing. If it gives people pleasure, that gives me pleasure. I like seeing people happy. I'm a giver. Like straight up, bro. That's some people's personality. And because most people like to receive, everybody loves that person. If they small and they not getting used up and they got not getting mistreated, if they just have a lot to give, then I ain't gonna lie, it gone a lot of respect. It gone a lot of loyalty from you know what I'm saying? These people can acquire from that. So that's what I'm saying. Like the satisficer, it still has he or she may still have all these things in reserve because it's not like I'm doing it for you. The overthinker, I feel like they kind of doing it for the glory or for the credit or to be seen, to be recognized. It's a void they're trying to fill when you overthinking something. Because I feel like emotions shouldn't be attached to every decision you make. That's what most people go wrong. As an overthinker, I feel like you get into your emotions, you get into your thoughts, and then you keep going through all this. Sometimes logic will be like, they just don't fuck with me. And that's true. I can move on about my day. I ain't in my feelings about it. I ain't hurt. I don't care. I'm just moving on. You see what I'm saying? And it might come out to other people who are overthinkers, who all like, dang, man, like I wonder what that was about. Like, you in your head, you like, bro, it's nothing. It's nothing. Like when I'm here, when I'm dealing with people in this environment, my emotions are not attached to my decisions. I make decisions out of what I think is gonna be best for the team, best for the superiors, best for the subordinates, best for everybody. Those are how I make the decisions, right? So it's no emotion attached to it because it's not just benefiting me. If it was something, if it's a decision I'm making for myself, yeah, I want to benefit 100. I don't want it to be no negotiation. I want it to be all one sided. I benefit, period. But in life, when you got a team, when you're working with people, you can't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Sorry for rambling, y'all. I just like this topic a lot. This is why overthinkers often feel mentally exhausted by evening eat. Oh, I see. This is why overthinkers often feel mentally exhausted by evening, even when they haven't done anything physically demanding. The decision making machinery runs at a higher RPM all day long, and the cognitive cost is a real and cumulative. Yo, their relationship with regret is fundamentally different. Hmm. Most people experience regret as an occasional visitor. It shows up after a bad decision, lingers for a while, and eventually fades. For overthinkers, regret is more like a permanent tenant. Schwartz research found that maximizers were not only likely to experience regret after decisions, more likely to experience regret after decisions, but they experienced it more intensely for longer periods and about a wider range of choices. This happens because overthinkers don't just evaluate the choice they made. They simultaneously evaluate all the choices they didn't make. Every foregone option becomes a phantom alternative that the brain keeps running simulations on. What if I had taken the other job? What if I had said something different? What if the other restaurant was better? Research from the University of Palermo has shown that it isn't just an emotional experience, it reflects a genuine difference in cognitive processing. Maximizes exhaustively compare options before deciding, which creates a larger mental library of foregone alternatives. After the decision, this library doesn't disappear. It becomes source material for rumination, counterfactual thinking, and the chronic sense that the grass might have been greener. Yeah, but this how I look at it. This why I say like not doing things and expecting anything back from it. I remember like in my early 20s, I really got enjoyment out of cooking. But I didn't get enjoyment out of like having to rush all the time, not putting love and not putting care into it. I just wanted something that's more like a more down to earth, homey, like touchy feely environment. It's like a vibe almost. but it's still upbeat, it's still high energy, but it's still a vibe. So I worked in like fast casual restaurants for like 2 or 3 years maybe. And I ain't gonna lie, them was some of the best times I had in my life. You see what I'm saying? And even though the goal that I was going for at that time, even though I kept getting passed up for it, I wasn't even tripping because for one, I was in college. I knew I wasn't gonna make that a career. And for two, it's like even though I didn't accomplish the goal, I'm still like I still enjoy it. I still like doing this. It's still fun. It's fun to learn. It's fun to do. Figure out the little ins and outs. Figure out different things about the business. It's still a good time to me because this is what I like. But I feel like that's when the overthinker will run into burnout. Like, if you did it expecting a different outcome, I'm gonna keep going back to that. When you give in expectation of getting back something in return, I feel like that's when you get let down. That's something the military had to taught me. Like, the lower your expectations are for a lot of things, the more you can just get disappointed and just go on to the next great high point of your life. It's gonna be a lot of disappointment. It's gonna be a lot of hard times, right? Overthinkers fundamentally different. Dealing with regret is different, so they deal with the regret differently. Yeah, I can see why overthinkers deal with regret differently than others because you're thinking of the other side. Okay, I'm dating this woman with the intention of marrying her. My expectations for her to say yes to marry me are very high. I asked her, she said no. Well, somehow during that process, we break up, we grow apart, things of that nature. Now you hurt. Now you distraught. Now you in depression because you expected